Good afternoon, students. Today's topic is freshwater biome. In this topic, I will provide you a description of major freshwater aquatic ecosystems of the world. This topic also we will know different principal characteristics, types and nature of freshwater aquatic ecosystems. We will also know to name the types of freshwater ecosystem and describe how they differ from one another. In this slide, you have seen that the most of the aquatic biome is filled up with salt water. Only 2.5% is freshwater. Out of this freshwater, 2.5%, the maximum parts are glaciers and ice caps. And if there are some open water, freshwater, it is in the form of permafrost or ground wise, which is 60%. Only a few portion is available as freshwater. If I have to introduce you about freshwater biomes, then I have to tell you that the freshwater biomes make up only 0.01% of the world's water and approximately 0.08% of Earth's surface is freshwater. And although it is called freshwater, it has a salt concentration which is less than 1%. And it mainly covers ponds, lakes, streams and rivers on the surface. And you know that the water of ice caps, glaciers, icebergs, bogs, ponds, lakes, rivers and streams and groundwater are all freshwater because the water body is characterized by having a low concentration of salt and other dissolved solids which we generally find in the marine water. So although these components are distributed, this overall is hardly 0.01%. Now let us have a look on different types of freshwater organisms. The freshwater organisms across different freshwater ecosystems are almost similar. Even I should say these organisms as per their classifications also similar in case of marine organisms, but the species or the diversity, these are different. Across all freshwater ecosystems, you will find more or less similar organisms, and these organisms are different from the marine organisms. However, we can classify these freshwater organisms into 5 types. The first one is plankton, then nekton, then benthos, periphyton and Nuston. The first category is plankton. Planktons are floating microorganisms which are incapable of freely swimming in the water. Incapable of freely swimming in the water means they are not very strong swimmer or they are totally unable to swim. If they move from one place to another, it is due to some passive forces. And although some of the microorganisms or plankton, they have the ability to swim, the swimming mechanism is very poor by use of some of the organs like cilia, flagella, etc. So there are 2 types of planktonic categories. One is phytoplankton, which is of plant origin. This is a phytoplankton which is of plant origin, means they have chlorophyll in their body, and some other characters are similar to the plants. And the second group is zooplankton, which don't carry any chlorophyll in their body, but they have some other organisms like cilia, flagella, etc., which help them to move in the water. So these are of animal origin. The second group is Nekton. Nekton is the strong swimmer species that are capable of swimming between current system. So they can swim against the current and they are stronger than plankton. That is why they also say that they are active swimmer. And the active swimmer, that is why they can swim against the water current at their will. Small fishes, some of the insects, they can swim against the water. So these are called Nekton. And third one is benthos. As you know, we have got in the marine biome also, benthos are the organisms that live on the bottom or floor of the water body, mainly on solid surfaces or on other substrata in aquatic and marine ecosystem. So they have the adaptation to walk on the surface or to live on the surface of the water body. The nymph or some insects you can find at the bottom of the river or pond. These are called benthos. The fourth one is Periphyton. Periphytons are the organisms that live attached to underwater surfaces. As you have seen here in this picture, these are the floating plants or the submerged plant. Whatever, floating plants also have some part of the body underwater, and submerged plant have the roots in the bottom of the water. So this is what these plants, they have a part of the body underwater. So the part of the body which is underwater, on the surface of the part, they colonize some of the microorganisms, mainly algae. And this time, these algae, when they colonize on the surface of the submerged plant, it is called periphyton. This periphyton may be an algae or some organisms. This periphyton may be plant origin or you can say animal origin. It means it may be an algae or some animals. So it is a mixture of autotrophic and heterotrophic microorganisms. Fifth one is Nuston. Nustons are the organisms resting or swimming in the surface of the water. So they are not the submerged one or bottom one or planktonic one. What they do, they float on the top of the water. Then it is called epinuston, or lives just below the surface of the water. Then it is called hyponuston. So they are not a deep swimmer. They just live on the surface or just below the surface of the water. So water strider, you can say this can walk on the water surface. So this is called Nuston. Here in this picture, you can see the different types of organisms in the freshwater and their different positions, or you can say zones where you find them available. The first one is Nuston. As I told you, they live on the surface of the water or just below the surface. Then you come to the plankton. This plankton occupy maybe the large part of the water body because these are free floating organisms. Then you come to Nekton. Nektons are very good swimmer, so you can find them swimming in different zones of the water and mostly in the middle zone. Then you can find benthos, which are the organisms or plants or animals on the surface or floor of the aquatic body. And periphyton you can find on the submerged surface of the aquatic plant or any aquatic substance, any substance which are underwater. So these are different positions of these organisms you find in the aquatic ecosystem. Now let us know about the different freshwater ecosystem. We have two distinct categories of freshwater ecosystem. The first one is lentic system. Lentic means calm water, so it is a water body which is not flowing, calm. So this includes lakes and ponds. And second is lotic system. The running water, it includes streams and rivers. So this is the lotic system and this is the lentic system. So basically we have two types of freshwater ecosystem. One is lentic, which is the stagnant water or water in resting bodies, and the second one is a lotic system, which is running water. Lentic systems. Lentic ecosystem are also called the lacustrine ecosystem or the still water ecosystem. These systems include all non-flowing water bodies such as ponds, swamps, bogs, lagoons, lakes, and so on. It also includes wetlands. What are wetlands? These are the areas of land that get covered with water periodically. So during monsoon, you might visualize, or you can see some of the areas are inundated with water, and this water remains there for some time, 2 or 3 months, and it converts the whole area to an ecosystem. You'll find aquatic animals, planktons, zooplanktons available in those aquatic ecosystem. These are called wetlands. So these are also coming under lentic systems. These lentic systems usually do not have a source of water. Source of water means they don't have any particular source of water where from the water flows and filled in these lentic ecosystems. Their main source of water is either groundwater or rainwater. So this is one of the specific character of lentic ecosystems. Think about a pond. Do you find that pond water comes from some river? No, it is either from the groundwater or rainwater. So this is what one of the features of lentic systems. Here I am showing you two different lentic systems, aquatic ecosystems. One is pond and second is lake. Ponds are generally smaller than lakes and shallow enough for sunlight to reach all the way to the bottom. So if you consider in terms of size, ponds are smaller and the light can penetrate to the bottom of the pond. So it is overall a photic zone. If you remember the last class, it is overall a photic zone, means the light can penetrate to the bottom of the aquatic body. But in lakes, at least some of the water is too deep for sunlight to penetrate. So they have some aphotic zone. As a result, like the ocean, lakes can be divided into zones based on the availability of sunlight. So what are these two zones? You can understand. One is photic and second is aphotic zone. So this is the basic difference between pond and lakes. And if you consider about the lentic ecosystem, you'll find they have three very distinct zones. One is the littoral zones. This is mainly the as you found in case of marine biome shoreline, it is the bank of the aquatic ecosystem, lentic ecosystem, which is shallow water region with light penetration up to the bottom. So if you think about a lake, this is the area where the light penetrate to the bottom of the water body. Then you can see the Lymnatic Zone. This is open water, the surface of the water, whatever it may be, a pond or lake, the rest of the surface of the water, whole surface of the water, you can say this is the Lymnatic Zone. Or there the effective light penetration can take place. Then you can find profoundal zone like the marine ecosystem. If you remember, the profoundal zone is the bottom and deep water area of the aquatic ecosystem or the body where effective light penetration is not available. So in case of pond, you cannot find profoundal zone. This profoundal zone is not there in case of pond because in pond the light can penetrate till the surface, up to the surface of the floor of the pond. But you may expect some profoundal zone in case of lake, since in the previous slide we came to know that lake may have aquatic zone. So there you may find a profoundal area. In case of lake, we can go for an additional classification. In this additional classification, the lakes may be classified on the basis of their availability of nutrients, which is not very common in case of ponds. The availability of nutrients take place due to the light penetration or the other factors like the planktonic groups and different external factors which contribute nutrients to the lake. So whatever, depending on the nutrients, they are classified on the basis of oligotrophic, mesotrophic, eutrophic and hypereutrophic. All these conditions are available in lakes, but these are not available in ponds because in ponds throughout the column the light can penetrate very efficiently, which is not possible in case of lake. That is why there are some gradation of lakes which we can find in the form of oligotrophic, mesotrophic, eutrophic and hypereutrophic. We will discuss in detail on different classification of lakes in the next class. So wetlands as Lentic system, it is very special because I told you that these are temporarily for a period of time, maybe 3 or 4 months. After that, these areas are dried up and they become a terrestrial ecosystem. So these are the areas where standing water that support aquatic plants. Many species of amphibians, reptiles and fur bearer can be found in the wetlands. And they have full penetration of light till up to the bottom, and that is why they are very rich in nutrients. Now coming to Lentic systems. The term Lentic represents running water, where the entire body of water moves in a definite direction. You think about the river, where the water moves to a specific directions, to one direction. So these are called Lentic systems. So these may be a brook, a stream, a river or springs. So in the Lentic habitats, the water moves continually in one direction. So they have water sources. Their origin is either a reservoir or a lake or anything which function as a source of the water for this Lentic system. And basically, if you just classify in across the world, 2 types of major Lentic systems are available. One is river. It forms from water moving from a higher elevation to a lower elevation, and this water moves due to gravity. And second is stream. A stream is a body of water that flows from higher elevation to lower elevation, and they are comparatively smaller than river. The definition of rivers and streams are different in different forms, different situations. So for example, in the next class or in some other class which we are going to discuss later, we'll find that the river orders, the rivers which are at the higher orders, may be termed as streams. So this way you can find the rivers and streams both are Lentic systems, and there is a marginal difference between these two. However, they have their own specific characteristics of water body, their different components, biodiversity, and nutrients, etc. And creek is a shallow stream of water. Creek, which is smaller than stream, it is you can consider as a shallow stream of water. So it is also a flowing water body. So it is a Lentic ecosystem. These we have seen that the flowing water that moves from higher to lower, and they have high oxygen levels because this is a flowing water. The continuous aeration of the water enrich the water with dissolved oxygen. So these are having higher dissolved oxygen levels. The abiotic features of rivers and streams vary along the length of the river or streams because every stretch of the water, flowing water, they come across with different soil types, different the vegetation types, and this is added with the load they carry. They carry some load of nutrients, and every time it dissipates at a distance. So once they carry the load of nutrients, it dissipates at a particular distance. So this creates a situation that every river or streams along the course of the river or streams, the abiotic features are little bit different. Based on origin, these are classified as river order or stream order. That I told you, the rivers are again divided into different orders, and many times you can see the streams also are ordered, and high streams order in the stream orders in a higher level may be termed as river. So the zones of a Lentic ecosystems you can find here. This is a river. Say for example, the littoral area is there, and sublittoral area also there, and profundal area depends on the water body. If it is a river, you may find a profundal area, but in case of streams, you may not find. So littoral, sublittoral, and profundal areas are there. Lymnatic part is not available. So these are the light zones where you can find the photic zones, and this is the aphotic zone. This is what the different divisions of the Lentic ecosystem. So my students, what we have learned from this class is that the biological groups of aquatic water bodies can be divided into 5 groups. One is Plankton, Necton, Periphyton, Nuston, and benthos. And there are 2 distinct groups of freshwater ecosystems. One is Lentic ecosystem and second is Lentic ecosystem. So this division is based on the nature of flowing water or the calm water. The calm water is those ponds and lakes, and the flowing water is those rivers and streams. And every freshwater ecosystem has its own divisions and characteristics features in terms of the penetration of light, or in terms of the availability of organisms or nutrients. So this is what we have learned today. Thank you very much.